What's the weirdest thing about Australian dating? Kel has so many opinions.
I've seen a lot.
As an outsider, as a
Well,
foreigner who is
yeah.
now an Australian. She's
The
seen both
weirdest
sides of the
thing.
fence.
I don't think anything is weird. I think it's just different, and like, if anything, you guys are much more formal. Like, I don't know. It's a little bit more formal than my culture. Like, that is a little bit more in like you dating someone. Like you know, there's a lot of weight to it. I think in Brazil things are a bit more relaxed. and like you know, there is just, yeah, I don't know, like there is so much mm.
You guys can't see the face she's making.
I just think it's much more formal, and like there is a few steps to things, then probably we skip a bit of that in Brazil.
Get straight to the point.
Well, yeah, I don't know, I think you
I
guys
feel
are
judged.
a little bit more formal. Yeah, I don't know.
G'day guys, welcome to the Aussie English podcast. Grab a cuppa, get comfy, and let's have a yarn. So, every country has different dating culture. Australians think ours is normal, but when you explain it, it sounds incredibly confusing. And today, we're going to try explaining a little bit about why. And I guess we'll compare a bit about Brazilian culture, at least how it was 15 years ago or earlier, and Australian culture. So, if someone arrived in Australia tomorrow, what do you reckon would surprise them about dating?
Someone from Brazil?
Could be anywhere. I mean, what
about dating?
You can use Brazil as an example, obviously, seeing as it's close to you.
Well, if you're a Brazilian girl and you arrive here and you are used to not having to do much, like you go out, men approach you, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Here, maybe for the best, or maybe not. Men seem to be a little bit more reserved. Don't come to you and say, you know, oh, I've been looking at you, whatever, I'll buy you a drink. It's not much of that.
It's been beaten into us. I think we were a lot more like that. My parents' generation was probably a lot more like that.
Oh, really?
100%. At least I wasn't alive then, but from what I understand, it was a lot more like you would meet people in social events and you would have to approach people. There was no Facebook. There was no text messages. There was no, you know, they barely just invented the phone.
Yeah.
That's a joke. But I think it was much more you had to be. Whereas we had obviously, you know, feminism played a huge role in the second part of the 20th century, and realizing that there were huge issues with sexism and power disparities and everything. And I think now men are very aware, at least most men, that by doing that, you can make women feel very uncomfortable.
Well, it's a good thing in a sense that, like, you know, you're not just going to read the room, you know, you're not going to approach anyone and be like, hey, do you want to make out? You know, you just really got to, it's a good thing. But often, also, I feel like coming from a culture where you literally exchange like
eye contact.
And you don't have to say much.
That is so foreign to me.
And you just like, you start kissing. But I'm saying that, and people might think, "Oh my God, Brazil is this like it's
slutty
not."
Country.
No, it's not. Like it's such. You go out and you eyeing someone out. You know, it's sort of that is a connection there, and you somehow you know they're into you.
Well, you have these social rules.
Yeah, you have the body language, and you know, and then you kiss like. I guess coming from that place here, and then you come here, and it's like, oh, that is not going to happen.
It was always a funny, like, because before I dated you, like, I don't know, 10 years before that, I had a girlfriend, and her sister started dating a Brazilian guy. And it was so funny how she was just like, good grief, they are full on. They would just jump your bones. They will let you know that they are interested, that they're chasing you. They will grab you. They will, you know. And she was almost saying it like you're speaking about it, like it was a positive thing, because she's like, God, Australian guys are so standoffish. They won't sort of chase as much.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like, just hearing those differences. And then when we got together, we almost didn't work out, right? Do you want to talk about that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Just like sort of miscommunication kind of thing. Like I thought there's not gonna go anywhere. And
Well, you were
had
you were expecting text messages.
Yeah.
Like, so we had gotten to know each other online, and then after a month or two, we actually caught up in person, went out, hung out, and the next day I was like, "Don't text her straight away. She's going to be like, God, this guy's so keen."
No.
And you were thinking the whole time, "Why isn't he texting me? Does he not
Yeah.
like me?" And then when we talked later that night,
It
because
was
I think
like,
you were sort of
"What?"
annoyed at me.
Well, no,
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm leaving tomorrow, just so you know.
Yeah. And
But
I was
it
like,
was
I know. I just didn't want to seem eager and freak
it
you
was
out.
just this one of those things of like you thought you were doing the right thing. I thought
Yeah, yeah.
from what I was reading that
Lost in
it wasn't.
translation.
Yeah, literally. So
Yeah.
that's that, difference. I think these days, I don't know. There's a lot of
Oh, it must be even harder now.
it's so hard because that's the online thing as well.
Yeah.
If you gotta put someone online and you gotta
Mhm.
you can't, if it's not online, it's not official. And if they like someone's photo, there's so much, so overwhelming.
Well, I think also people have such high standards because they're
Yeah.
constantly surrounded by attractive people online that the algorithm is boosting. So everyone thinks, one, those people are everywhere.
Yeah.
And two, if I don't get someone like that, I'm not doing well. And so,
Yeah.
they end up holding back or not dating or worried about
You're
it.
always comparing your life in general to what you see online.
Yeah.
In a sense, like, oh, I don't I have the bigger house, or this
Mhm.
I could be doing better. Like you
I
always.
think that's the hardest part, I would imagine,
and
about
people
dating
back in the
now.
day didn't have that.
Yeah.
You're sort of happy with what you
Yeah,
got.
you just chased the prettiest girl in the village,
That's
and
it.
there was 20 chicks, and you tried to find the pretty
Yeah.
one,
And it's
then
so deceiving because some of the happiest people I know, they're married or they got together with really normal,
yeah,
happy, just normal, friendly people. You don't see this top models, and
Mhm.
it's very deceiving to think, one, that you're gonna achieve that, and two, this is what's available. No, it's not.
Which almost it's like showing people the most highly processed food
Yeah,
all the time,
exactly.
and making people think that that's what's desirable.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so it
And
is hard.
forgetting that doesn't matter how good they look, you're gonna get used to that, and then you're gonna jump to the next thing.
Yeah,
And it's so confusing. As you go to a restaurant, it's like it's a 4-page menu,
this is
and you're
analysis by
like-
paralysis. Yeah.
and you're like, well, all of a sudden I'm not even hungry anymore.
Well, have you seen?
Because-
They've done studies, I think, on the perfect number of items to have on a menu. How many do
Yeah.
you reckon it is?
10?
It's 12.
Really? I get a bit off topic. I get really irritated if I go to a restaurant and the menu is massive.
I know.
I get really irritated about that because
This used to be the Asian restaurants in Melbourne we would go to, and they would have 200 items, and you would just be like, I'm going to be here for an hour trying to make the
not
right decision.
only that, to me, it says a lot about the quality of the food. It's a bit weird getting to my OCD
Your
or
rationale.
whatever. But it's like, what are the chances that you have fresh seafood, butter chicken, and you make good pizzas? Like, there is no way. You gotta pick one.
Pick one lane.
Pick one thing, and stick with that. There is
Mhm.
no way. It just irritates me so much.
Wow, yeah, in that situation, I'm always like, what's the best thing on the menu? Just tell me and I'll have it.
Well, you trust people that much. I would never give that choice to a waitress who is like,
Oh, yeah.
whatever, dude.
Surprise me.
No, she'd be like, the oysters.
Yeah, no, that'd be a deal breaker for me. Not a
No.
fan. Not a fan of oysters.
Yeah. So a lot of options out there. Not necessarily a good thing. I think you have this which is almost like a new I don't know, structure that you have to manage as well, like your online presence when you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
someone and
I think
you're
I've
it's-
seen
yeah.
people talking about the fact that people don't dance anymore at nightclubs.
Oh my god.
Because they're constantly worried someone will film them, like kids
Oh,
as well.
that's
So we used to,
miserable.
when we were kids at high school, we used to have like the
dance party.
yeah, well, there would be like the ball or whatever it was. There was a yearly kind of event where like a disco type thing, and you would dance, you wouldn't care. But now they were saying kids just don't. They get
That's so
together, they go to
sad.
the event, but everyone just stands there because they don't want to be filmed and
That
put
is so
online.
sad.
And
That
so
is
it is.
sad.
It's one of these interesting things that social media and the smartphone has changed the way in which humans interact. And I think also now it's like processed food where your body thinks you're getting good calories from eating chips because it's like, whoa, there's a lot here, but there's actually no nutrients.
Yeah.
People think they're getting good quality interactions with other human beings through social media, whether consciously or not. And so they don't go outside as much in order to actually have high quality, nutrient dense interactions with other people.
Yeah. I think
And that's affecting dating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is affecting how often people have sex, which is affecting
Yeah.
how often people have children, which is affecting countries all around the world now, you know.
Yeah.
It's funny how it's all sort of a downstream thing from what I've learned over the last few months. I went down a rabbit hole with this, guys, and it was like you can see on the graph the moment that it's 2007, the iPhone comes in, social media comes in, and all of those metrics go down. How often people are dating, people in relationships, how often people have sex, how many children people are having.
Yeah.
It all just starts decreasing dramatically.
It's crazy.
So
yeah.
it always makes me think, are kids just these days going to get to a point where they boycott this stuff? You know, will it come full swing?
Counterculture kind of thing.
Yeah.
In a few years. I don't know. There is a lot of like new. Well, not that I know any, but I've read about it. Like young adults and teenagers that like they don't want phones.
They're just rejecting it.
There's like
Good on them.
Just make friends the old way, and it's hard. It's hard to because you're literally against what everyone else is doing.
Oh, and that's the hard part. There's a gravity to it, right? Because everyone else is online. So if you try and pull away,
you're the weird one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've got to try and get enough people to do it all at once that it creates momentum, right?
That's tricky.
So you have to hope it does. Are Aussies good at flirting? We think we are. These faces. I need to take photos of these each time you react.
I feel so biased because. And I don't want to give this impression of the stereotype of Brazil being wild.
Did you know that Brazil, they're just good at everything?
Yes.
Soccer, flirting, dating, just everything.
I don't want to give this impression and reinforce the stereotypes, but it's just, well, good is relative. Like you guys are definitely more respectful. There's like a lot less pressure, I would think, for you to perform or to end up in someone's house at the end of the night, but also you don't have the malice,
The malice.
There's something. I feel like
the
as
evilness.
a Brazilian, I feel like I'm like a wolf if I went
wolf?
out, and like these little lambs are like, waiting to be chased.
Deer in the headlights.
It's just because
These Aussie men,
you
they
just
got
come
no
across
idea.
quite innocent in a sense, but like that is a very simplistic way to look at it. I don't.
She's a shark in the pool.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, oh, you know nothing.
Get out of the way, minnows. Little fish.
Yeah, from the people that I know that are on like dating apps. It's awful out there. It's my friends always like, oh, you literally picking the less worst,
the least worst
the
option.
least worst.
If I see another guy in a singlet holding a fish,
or like, or it's a bit rough, I guess. Don't know. It depends person to person. Like this friend in particular is just quite reserved, so. If men try to be a little bit more forward, she sort of
she would
shuts
probably
down.
back away, exactly.
But then if the guy doesn't
Not
make the
forward
move,
enough.
she's like, oh, I feel like I'm the man now in
It's
the
hard.
relationship.
Yeah.
It's so hard for men. Like,
Yeah.
how do you don't know.
Man, there were so many of these. I had those moments too where I was always the kind of person that didn't want to rush into things. Like I really liked someone and I would want to take it slow. One, because I didn't want to freak them out, but also it kind of burns up and fizzles out if you rush everything, straight away. But there were definitely, looking back, there were times where I missed opportunities because I was slow. And I'm just like, you
Is
look
that
at me like...
because I chat about these things in general with my boss, who's I would say he's a good friend of mine. And there's a classic story that he tells me back in the day that he used to go to this fish and chip or fried chicken shop, and it was this gorgeous girl working there, and they would make small talk, and he was like, oh my God, most beautiful woman I've ever seen. And then one day he mentioned that he played tennis or something. And she said, I think you should come to my place and you can play because I have a tennis court or whatever. He goes, oh, I'm not that good. And only hit him years later. He goes, fuck. He goes, oh no, oh my God. And he's like, I'm like, what is that? He's like, he calls me Sonia. Like, Sonia, men are dumb.
Yeah.
Like, you're not expecting
Dude.
that woman to be hitting on
No.
you. And it takes you a little bit of time to believe that.
I have to tell you a story.
Yeah. And to be like, oh, okay, that is, maybe, I don't know. Which is a good thing. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't want anyone who's like
Well,
overconfident and be
part of
like,
it is
oh
you-
yeah, she's totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also you don't want to wait years later to
Mhm.
be like, oh, that gorgeous girl was hitting on me,
Yeah, well, that's one
He's
of those
happily
things.
married now,
Exactly.
you
Once you're
know.
married, you kind of look back and you're like, it would have been a bit of fun, but
Yeah.
I'm not disappointed with where I am now.
Yeah, but also like, it goes to show, I guess, there is a tendency for men to be a little bit slow or not believing that, if a woman
Yeah.
is forward and flirtatious, like Brazilians tend to
Mhm.
be, that's maybe why I feel like you guys can be a little bit shy.
Man, it was funny. I had this moment. So there was this beautiful, like half, I think Indian or Sri Lankan girl, and half, Caucasian that I knew through friends at the gym before well before weed man.
I don't mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Just go for it. As you can
And
just.
I remember we
Go
were
for
dating. We
it.
went on a few dates, and one day I ended up getting her to come back to my apartment. And again, I wanted to hang out with her and spend time with her, but I wasn't trying to rush it because I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't want to freak her out. I don't want to burn things out straight
It's
away.
almost like it's so good to be true. I
Yeah.
don't want to waste this.
So,
yeah.
and we'd been, kissing and making out and stuff.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Can I stay the night?" And I was like, "Look, I really like you. I don't want to sort of rush things. Maybe we can do it next week or something." And I remember she said to me, "What if this is the only chance that you'll get?" And I remember saying, "That's not going to be the only chance." It was the only chance. Like,
Oh,
it burned
no.
out after that. I was like, "No!"
Why did you do that?
Because I was trying to be a good, honorable.
She's literally
I
saying,
know, but-
do you mind if I
I
stay the
know.
night?
That's the only time. That's the only one of those.
The other
little-
one, the other times you went for it.
No. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, went straight for the kill. I was just like, the door's
You
already
stayed the
locked.
night.
No. That was one of those moments where I was like, I
Oh,
probably should have
man.
just read the writing on the wall.
Far out. That's the thing. Like,
But
you don't want to get someone, obviously, with in
Mhm.
today's world. If
Mhm.
a girl is uncertain,
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm not sure. Don't go like, oh, if they say no, they mean yes. Like, if she's clearly
Yeah.
being reluctant and being like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm not sure.
It wasn't that. It was more
No,
if
that's-
you rush to, having a sexual relationship when you're dating someone, usually, at least from my experience, it's a bad sign that's not going to last. Because you're having the entree, dinner, and dessert all at once really quickly. It's not, you're not taking your time to get to know each other. You're not spreading things out a bit. You're not, just going through you lose all the kind of excitement and expectation and everything too early. And so I was the
Well-
kind of person that wasn't ever rushing, like if you have a good date and the woman wants to
Yeah.
come home, you're just like, yeah, just do it,
Do you feel like there is I don't know, like pressure on men to be like, you went all the way, like do you ever feel like
think-
as a young man to be like, oh, I
You
wanted
would
to
have
be
that from other men.
respectful,
You would have that from other men.
but yeah, like,
You wouldn't
are
have that-
you dumb? Like kind
Yeah.
of thing. How did you let
Well,
her go? But
the-
like you didn't feel like you should do that,
I don't know. I've just always had that view of I don't want to.
make
just-
anyone uncomfortable.
No,
yeah.
it wasn't the uncomfortable thing. Like, because I knew she wasn't uncomfortable. It was more I don't want to rush it all and just
yeah.
just ruin it. I don't mind taking my time, getting to know the person, and just not rushing it. Whereas my housemate was the complete opposite.
Oh, I remember. that, yeah.
he went through. God, he must have been on 5 to 6 dates a week, and
Holy
it would be
Jesus.
it was more often than not. I kid you not. He would bring home a different girl each night.
and
And
just
I
come
was-
out and say, oh, were
Ev-
you here? Oh, never mind.
It was every day. I was like, there was a different woman.
Oh my
It was,
God.
of all types. And
I get the
just remember
variety
being-
is a good thing, but also I would get so sick of people. Like there is that factor of there is only so much
I
of
know.
it you can have.
I remember saying to my friend,
It's-
"Aren't you exhausted, dude?
It's not
This
gonna
is
be
like a full-time
mind
job."
blowing every time, and it's like, ugh, and then you have to
I
deal
feel
with
like
them.
it was
It's like, far
for
out.
him. I think it was probably he was a late bloomer. He
Yeah.
didn't get a lot of female attention back home. and he came from a different country, and we lived together. And I think all of a sudden he'd kind of found himself, gotten fit at the gym, was doing jiu-jitsu all the
And make the
time, had a
most
good
of it,
job,
yeah.
could take women out, and yeah, it gave him he felt good about himself, I
Yeah,
think,
well,
you know.
well.
But he's happily married now with a kid. But it was just, and he found, you know, his wife eventually through
Mm.
dating all these women. I remember, I think, you know,
I wonder what she did differently.
she hung around. Like she just kept coming back. And
She's like, hello.
super like the pants in the relationship.
Yeah, good on
Yeah,
her.
yeah. It was really
I
funny.
was saying before,
she tamed the beast.
like I mentioned, it must be so hard for a man or a young man these days with all these like, you know, unwritten rules and things about women, and like
Yep.
we're definitely much more forward or more confident, or you know, like if it's a woman saying she's clearly unsure what she's saying, I don't want to stay the night, I don't, you know, even not saying I don't want to, or being like I'm not sure about this. Safer way is to go, okay, no.
Mhm.
But in your case, she did say, "What if I do?"
We're still
So
talking
it's
about
just
that.
like,
Yes.
yeah, it's just like you know,
those words in my head. What if this is
when
your last
a
chance?
woman's being that forward, it's like, dude,
Yeah, I've just got to
let's go.
in my next life, I'll just have to not be as
Cautious.
as understanding and cautious. All right. What was your first date like when you were younger?
Probably high school. It
Mhm.
wasn't really a date. It was like after school, we meet you behind this whatever, and you just quickly kissed, and I went
Not
home.
a date,
That's
Kel.
not a date. A date, a proper date.
Yeah.
God.
Like, did you go to the movies? Did you go to a restaurant?
I went
Did you
to
go
the
a cafe?
movies. Yeah, I went to the movies, and we watched Pirates of the Caribbean, which goes for like 3 hours. He didn't touch my hand like once. Like he just
Yeah.
watched the movie, was really into it,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay. And then I went home, and nothing happened.
Meanwhile, he's thinking that was the best date ever.
He's
Pirates
like,
of the Caribbean, that was sick.
10 out of 10 movie. It's like, yeah. No.
I remember I did the same thing though when I was a teenager. I can't remember how I met this girl. We must have been like 16, 17, and I asked her, you know, you want to go to the movies? Went to the movies, and then we got something to eat, and it was like, cool, thanks, see you later.
Yeah.
And I remember being like,
Is that it?
well, I remember, no, it was just like, why the fuck did we go and sit in a dark room for an
I
hour and a half and
know.
not talk?
I was not dying to see a movie. I could do it by
I know.
myself. you
And it's
know?
funny, like this goes to probably the expectations around dating in Australia. For me, when I was dating, because in my mid to late 20s, I was dating actively, like trying to meet different people, trying to find the right person. I realized the clock was ticking. I had this thing in my mind of I wanted to have kids about 30, so I needed to find the right woman. My go-to was typically let's get a drink or let's get a coffee. And it's funny because I think Australian culture is very like minimal effort in terms of initial dates.
That is so
And
weird.
Many women I've heard, probably Australians too, criticize this, and they're like, these lazy men.
Low effort.
My perspective was I want it to be as like low effort as possible so that
like literally.
I don't know how to say. Yeah, well, like it's meant to be no frills attached. I don't want to be impressing you with money. I don't want to have to impress you with money for you to stick around. I don't want to have to be like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to buy all this stuff. I'm going to spend all this money. Please like me. Please stay.
But that's
Because I want to
not-
know that the person genuinely likes my company, my, conversation with me without any of that stuff polluting the well, right?
Yeah, it's so different for women though.
Yeah. I know that. I know,
my
but that was
culture,
always my thing.
You want to dress up, it's a big thing. You're literally preparing for it for the whole day. You shave, you do your hair, you buy a new dress. And then you go out for dinner and it's like a nice restaurant, It feels like this guy is taking me out to this nice
I
place.
would do that on
you
a
know?
second, a third, a later date, but that initial one, it would
Someone
usually
asked me
be...
to go out for a coffee. I'd be like,
The worst thing would be for a man, I think in particular. I mean, and again, you guys tell me, maybe I'm wrong, but it would be putting in all that effort, spending all that money, and she's a moron. Or you don't get along with her.
well,
or she's, she's a massive
it's
racist.
getting dangerous. Well,
Because I would want to know, that's what before I super invest in like not even just the money side of it, but the time. Like, okay, we're going to go to a restaurant. I've made the booking. We've got it for like 2 hours or more, and we're going to do all this, this, and this, and this. Before any of that, I want a real idea of, do I want to spend time with this person?
I get where
You know
you're
what I mean?
coming from, but also it comes across as very like, I don't think you're worth it in the first place. I'm just gonna test the waters a little
But
bit.
isn't that somewhat like sexist because you think men have to spend money for it to be worth
No,
it?
but no one is. You're the one talking about money. Like, we will literally buy a new dress, get our hair done, shave, make sure we got, makeup is on top. Like, that's all these things involved. And you've been anxious for the whole day.
Are you doing that for me or for you?
We're doing that so we feel confident around you, and you want us to think we're pretty, and you want us to be. You want you to be impressed.
But is it also partly because you just enjoy the process of getting dressed up?
We enjoy the fact there's someone who's going to look at you on that night and be like blown away. That is like, wow, this is a gorgeous woman,
But how do you know they don't have that feeling anyway?
And if they,
right?
Well, you don't.
This is the
but
thing women
don't
don't realize. Men often have that feeling. You don't need any makeup. You don't need to be wearing amazing clothes, and we are blown away. All that other crap is just wrapping paper on an amazing gift.
I just think it's just a very low effort, man. Like,
well,
look,
it worked. It worked. Look where we are.
Well, I don't know about that. Just, I don't know. You gotta remember, these are little girls that grew up watching Disney movies and the princess and the prince, deep inside of us, all of us.
Polluted.
As much as we say, we're independent women now, like, this is gonna get me cancelled.
Propaganda, brainwashing.
This is gonna get me, like, saying, we're independent, I can pay for my own dinner, whatever.
But I want you to do it.
We still want someone. Safety, man. I just want to be.
That's still part of it.
Taken care
100%. But at the same time, I guess my point is I'm not avoiding all of that later.
Yeah.
But my initial thing was always, I want to just get to know this person in a simple environment without going crazy.
Yeah.
Because you just don't want to go to all that effort. Like, it'd be like you going on a blind date as a woman, I think, right? Where you put in all this effort, dressing up, wearing everything, and then the moment you arrive, within 2 minutes, you're like, oh, I don't want to be here.
I guess the good side of it would be making people comfortable. Like, you don't have to be on your, absolute best, in the ways of, like, the way you look or anything. You just be yourself, casual. That's a good thing. But also, I don't know. I feel like
I've got a funny story for you.
I feel like inside of us is always this little girl wanting to be taken care of.
I know. It's a balance.
Like,
it's a balance.
Yeah.
I had a friend from the gym back when I was in my 20s, and I remember he was dating at the same time, but his thing was taking women to restaurants.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, but if you've never even met them and you don't really know them, what happens if you don't like them? And he's like, oh, I just say I'm going to the toilet and then I leave.
That's a no trick.
And I'd be like, wait, is this after you've ordered food?
And you paid?
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, I order the food and just leave. And it's their problem. And I'm like,
that's awful. I guess at the end of the day, first of all, what are the chances this person is going to turn out to be absolutely unbearable? Like, you surely spoke before you went out for dinner with them.
He was a very shallow guy.
And then in the end, if it's all bad, like, at least you had good food, Make sure you choose a nice restaurant. At least you had good food.
But I think your perspective is probably thinking, well, I didn't like him, but I had good food. And he's thinking, well, I didn't like her and I had to pay for her fucking food.
Well, yeah.
All right. So dating in Australia today, I think we talked about, Tinder, Hinge. One of the biggest things that I think is hard is the ghosting, right?
Human. That's a human thing of, I don't want to deal with the uncomfortable emotion.
I know, but it's so...
Is it prevalent? Is it a big...
I think it's just a social media smartphone type
you can
phenomenon.
just block people and that's it.
But it's such a weird thing because you can't really get away with it in person, right? You can't have a conversation with someone and then mid-conversation, just at least socially, just turn around and walk away.
Unless you're your friend.
Yeah, it's not a common thing. But whereas online, you just stop replying.
I used to be very critical of that. But now, like, again, getting older and sometimes that conversation that is gonna potentially have someone crying in front of you, I understand. I'm not saying it's the right thing. I say I understand. What are the chances I'm never gonna see her again or him again? I'll block them. That's it. you know.
But it's always
It's awful, but it's like,
the
I
same
get
with
it.
Facebook Marketplace and selling things.
Oh yeah.
Because I do a lot of that with, guitars and other paraphernalia, plants, and it drives me absolutely insane where people just disappear. No,
Yeah.
is this available? I'd like to get it. Can you deliver it today? Can I buy it today? And you're
That's
like,
it.
yep, no worries. Here's the time. Here's how much, and they'll be like,
I forgot.
or left the conversation, and you just be like, oh, for fuck's sake, just say, look, I'm sorry, mate,
Yeah.
I've changed my mind. Like the same with dating. There's
It's a
a
very
nice way
low-
of doing
yeah.
it where you can just say, look, I think you're a nice person. I don't think this is going to work out, or I'm not interested. I'm really sorry, but I don't want to waste your time. And then you tap out.
But that's the other thing, though. Can you be that honest? You know?
I think it's something you need to practice.
I
think it's a
think it
respectful
goes-
thing that
yeah.
most people can do that. It's not like, impossible that people can be courteous and respectful of others, even if it's
I
uncomfortable.
guess if it's a guy saying to a girl, look, not necessarily my type. I was trying to see where this was going. She'll be like, I wasn't into you anyway, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then the other way around of like the girl ditching the guy, him being like,
But I think you
didn't
can-
want to date you, whatever.
You can do it in such a way that you're not a dick, right? Like, again,
Yeah.
obviously, if you said to someone, I'm too good for you and I don't want to date you,
No,
then yeah,
I
they're going to
guess,
get
yeah.
defensive. But if
Yeah.
you just said to someone, again, just start with a positive. I think you're a really
A
lovely
sandwich,
person.
sort of.
Yeah.
Two
And you say,
positives,
"Look,
a negative in the middle.
I don't feel a connection. I'm really sorry. I wish I did. I think you're amazing. I wish you luck. And,
The best,
rude.
all the best.
yeah, tap out. Like, adios. Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
what else can you do in that situation? And if the other person turns around and says, fuck you, you piece of... It's sort of a red
That's-
flag. It shows you that the other person was
That's
probably not
why
the right
Brazil,
person to...
você fica, you
Antes de falar, you-
stay with someone. You're only dating if there is a formal proposal, like,
Yeah,
do you
we're
want to
gonna-
be my
we
girlfriend?
need to slow down. You're going to have to explain what ficar means. 'cause-
Ficar is
'cause that's
like-
a very Brazilian cultural
Yeah.
thing that is not
So
common.
you can be ficando or ficar with someone,
Staying
which
with...
means stay. You saw each other in a party or something,
Mhm.
you sort of kissed, and then you have them on your contacts and you message them every now and then. If it happens you're in the same place, you're going to kiss again, or they come to your place every now and then.
It's kind of like hookup buddies, right?
You are not dating and you have no commitment to that person
Yeah.
whatsoever. If
Which is weird because ficar means stay.
staying...
Yeah, like staying
Yeah.
with someone.
And that is that both parties acknowledge that you
Yeah.
have no commitment, and if 2 days later you show up on Facebook dating someone, like officially
Yeah,
so and so
yeah.
is in a relationship, it's okay.
I guess it's good that you at least have a word for it so that you can
Yeah.
express that
yeah,
idea.
Or you can like we were just ficando, we were not.
We were
like,
just staying,
You're
yeah.
staying, like, and it's it's
Socially
fine.
acceptable.
Many couples will be in that dynamic for a long time before they even are boyfriend and girlfriend.
It is very, I think, in Western culture, or well, but in Australian culture here, it's very, you would have to be explicit about something like that. I guess it would be the rule. This is what I always got annoyed with my housemate, because he was always dating so many women at the same time, and I'm like, dude, do they know that you're like bringing home all these people simultaneously all the time? Because I feel like that would probably change the situation with many of them. For me, it was always like, you could be talking to multiple
Yeah,
people
yeah, yeah.
to get to know them, but the moment you ask someone out, they get your focus.
Well, we also don't have that mental energy to be. People don't realize how much energy it takes. If you're talking to so many people, there's so many versions of yourself that you're
You're
literally curating to, and it's exhausting.
Yeah.
So it's like, by myself. That's, I think, one of the main things that people find one single partner in the end. It's like, who can be bothered? It's like, it's too much, And then for him to be doing that multiple times a week, that's, respect.
Yeah, I know. It used to blow me
But
away.
like, yeah, I just can't. It's exhausting. So yeah, so in Brazil we just, you have
Yeah.
that, and then if the guy asks you want to be my girlfriend, then
Yeah.
your boyfriend and girlfriend.
You need to say the words.
You need to say the word, and then who knows after that. But like, yeah,
Mhm.
there's no, and you can even say like, oh, so and so is here, but we're just piquant, I'll go out with someone else.
Yeah,
you know?
okay.
Like it's very fluid and like there's no hard feelings. You know, obviously
Yeah.
people do tend to sometimes get a bit like, oh, I thought that was going somewhere, but like general rule, if you're not officially a couple,
Mhm.
meaning the guy proposed to be
Mm-hmm.
your boyfriend, you
The
have
guy probably
no-
got down on one knee.
no, not that, but just like, all right, are we exclusive now?
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
want
yeah.
to be like that sort of talk? Anything before that, it's up for grabs.
No holds barred, yeah.
No.
So what do you reckon Australians actually value when it comes to dating? You know?
I don't know. I think Australian society is a bit conservative.
But what's
Like, I think more men want a housewife. Like, they
reckon?
want to. I think so. I think men want someone who is like, all right, she'll be a good mom. She'll be, you know, she works, but it's not so much that it's going to be any more than me. Or like, you know,
Man, I wish.
she's like,
I don't. Yeah, it's a
I
weird
think
one. I think
most
that
men
used to
have
be like
this
that.
very maybe romantic way of looking at things.
Yeah.
Of it's gonna be my little. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I never felt
You
like
don't
that.
feel like that?
Nah, I always wanted a partner in crime,
Mm.
and I got one.
Uh,
That's a compliment. What the?
Oh.
You know, I wanted someone to hang out with. I wanted an equal. I didn't want like a servant. You know, I didn't want someone who I'm the worker, you're the stay-at-home woman that takes care of all the gross stuff.
Yeah.
I wanted someone that I was best friends with. You know,
Mm. I don't know. Maybe it's just from like seeing like what is on social media and some young people that I know. I think sometimes both sides have really high standards of
Yeah.
like you're gonna be earning this, so there's a lot of focus on again so formal. Like
But have you ever noticed that I've seen those things online? Whether I don't, usually it's in America, and it'll be men or podcasters asking women, "What do you want in a man?" And they'll say 6 figures, 6 inches,
well,
6
I guess
feet.
this is staged.
I
isn't
know
it?
there's probably part of that, but there seems to be those very like high expectations on the part
I
of the
guess
women
both
as well.
sides. There's
Yeah.
like massively expectations of not only you gonna be an amazing wife, but you're gonna have
Amazing wife, amazing lover, amazing
Amazing-
worker that makes a lot of money.
Yeah, and like where are these people? Like no one.
That's the funny thing. I think these people who do these questions for people are like,
Yeah.
when they actually ask, you know, height, wage, or whatever, and then they say, okay, that's 0.0005% of the population. Good luck.
I've never had a type of like, oh, I'm gonna date someone has to be like that. Like,
Yeah.
you know, there are definitely things that I don't like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but like it was never like, you know, he's a bit small for me. Like, never. I never from a very young age cannot remember having such a checklist of
No.
things that I had to tick and in order to
Well, there
be
would be things
interested
there.
in someone, you
Because
know.
for me, it was always, firstly, can I talk to them and do they like my sense of humor? Can I make them laugh? Do they make me laugh?
Mm,
And do we just have spontaneous fun?
mm.
Am I obviously attracted to them, like sexually attracted to
Yeah.
this person? Because I think that's hugely important no matter who you are. And that was pretty much it, you know, like I didn't really care what their job was, even what their politics were. Like that kind of thing, they didn't have to be exactly the same as me.
I feel like these days everything is such a deal breaker. Everything. Like, oh, I know someone who is like, oh, but then like he followed Charlie Kirk on Instagram. Absolutely not.
Everything, yeah.
It's like,
Here are 99 of the
dude.
things that he was good at and that I liked, and then there was
But
this
Charlie
one
Kirk.
deal breaker.
There is so much you can't say you can't make a joke. Like you can't. Maybe you come across a little bit like, you know, over the top and like just be. It's in politics. That's such a massive thing now. Like if you're dating someone who's heavily left wing, like
Mhm.
you can't. This you
It,
know.
it depends on the person though too.
Yeah.
And that was the thing for me.
There's
it was
always extremes,
yeah.
you know.
It depends how much they push that stuff on me. Because
Yeah.
ultimately, I just like talking to people of all different religions, politics, whatever. I don't really care. But if they end up making it your problem,
Mm.
like you need to agree with me, no matter what the topic is, it becomes
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
It's just weird that there's so many things are like people are very like I don't and maybe that's the good thing. Maybe that's, you know, some people stay single for much longer until they find that specific special person. That maybe that's a good thing. What
Mhm.
do I know? But like I feel like back in my day, we would put up with things, a little bit more resilience there, and just
Mhm.
being like, well, he jokes, but it's
Yeah.
okay,
He
like,
farts sometimes.
it's
he burps.
that's not the worst. I can deal with that. It's just
Yeah.
a lot of
The pro
you
column
gotta
is
tick
still
all
ticked
the
way more than
boxes
the
kind
cons
of
one.
thing, and everything
Mhm.
is so. Yeah, I don't know.
What's something you thought mattered when you were younger that doesn't anymore?
In terms of dating.
Yeah, I guess these things, these values, these things. Were there things when you were younger? Was it like, oh, I need to make sure that when I find the right person or date someone, that they need to tick these boxes? And then now you look back and you're like, "Pfft, girlfriend, those weren't even the main problems, that you should have worried about.
Don't know. It's hard because everyone is different. Like I've dated people that were like completely different from each other.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you focus less like when you focus more when you're young on that superficial things,
Mm-hmm.
someone's good looking and you all of a sudden like, oh, he's into me.
What's it? There's a kids movie. I can't remember. It's like the Swan Princess,
Mm.
and there's the prince in it, right? So he this girl, this girl that he wants is there, and he wants to marry her, and they're having a ball or whatever, like where they're partying and everything, and she's like, "Why do you like me?" And he's like, "You're beautiful."
Mm.
And she's like, "What else?" And he says, "What else is there?"
Whoa.
And I'm like, "Oh,
Brutal.
dude,
Brutal.
someone hand him a shovel."
Yeah,
Dig
that
your own
sort of
grave.
stuff, that superficial stuff that is, the things that are bright and flashy when you're young that like just make you feel so special. They count in a sense, but like at the end of the day, it's just how someone makes you feel, It doesn't matter if they're not 6 foot,
Yeah.
It's just not
That
that big
was
of a deal.
before. So I had one long-term relationship before you that was like, I think it was 18 months. And then probably 10 years before I met you, it was just a string of 3-month
Mhm.
long type relationships, maybe 1 or 2 a year
Mm-hmm.
max. Probably not even that. And people used to always ask me, why do you break up with these people? And I'm like, if I know, even if, they're beautiful, they're like this, they're like this, they're this,
Mhm.
they're rich, they're whatever it was, I would be like, yeah, but I don't get along with them the way that I
Yeah.
see myself wanting to get along with my partner. We haven't clicked the way that we should. I could totally just stay with this person because, hey, life would be easy.
And people look at me and say, "Look how hot my partner is," but then
any of
it's
that
like,
stuff. Look how rich they are. Look how hot they are. But I was like, that was why I was always like, I want to make sure, like that we talked about that situation with the half Indian Sri Lankan girl.
Yeah.
It was like, I want to make sure this is the right person that I totally click with. Like I was
Yeah.
really hoping with her that it was.
Yeah.
And clearly it wasn't, and that's just how it goes. But I think, yeah, looking back, that was one of those things where I don't regret that at all.
You just
and that was
don't,
the
it
right
doesn't
thing.
matter. Like, it's obviously nice to feel good about yourself because you've got someone who is very attractive next to you. But like, time will go anyway.
Yeah.
Time will pass. There'll be things, when you're 5 years into this, there'll be things that you look at and be like, maybe it doesn't matter how beautiful you are.
Well, it's the honeymoon period wears
yeah,
off.
it's like it
Mhm.
does, and it doesn't sustain itself. So probably looking back, things like that, but again, you're young, and these relationships when you are young are meant to be, quick, and you're learning, and you
Yeah.
sort of. I find it really weird these days when I see someone young, and I've met a few people like very young, like 19, 20. That friend of mine
Mm-hmm.
who is like, oh no, I'm engaged, I'm moving in with so and so. I'm like, wow,
Dude.
okay.
Rushed.
Like I just can't. Yeah, you change so much. Like you.
I think it's funny. That's probably one of those things worth talking about too, from an Australian perspective. Many cultures around the world prefer that people haven't had sex before marriage, often because of religion or conservative, cultures. I think we're a lot less like that in the West and in Australia in particular, where from my perspective growing up, at least when I was younger and dating people, it was almost like I definitely wanted whoever I was dating to have had other relationships before me.
Absolutely.
Because I want to be sure that they know and appreciate what it is that they have the same way I do when they actually, settle down with the right person.
Yeah. Or just maturity, if you
Mhm.
don't know, I feel like you're teaching this person and you feel like you have all of a sudden it's not two
There's a
independent
disparity.
mature adults, like you have a
Mhm.
responsibility here of like this person doesn't know much about this now.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just a power imbalance there. It feels weird, I guess.
If you could go back and give your younger self advice about dating, what would it be and why? What sort of advice would
um
you give young Kel?
it depends, like you don't have to stay in a relationship that you're not happy with because you're scared of being alone. Like you'll be fine. Like don't make someone your identity. Like these relationships not your identity. Like you can handle being by yourself. I would say that. Like
Yeah.
don't feel like you have to stick around when you know it's not for you
Yeah.
because you're scared of being alone. Be alone. You'll be a better partner later on if you are alone for a while. If you learn to be self-sufficient and confident and
Yeah.
all that. It's not a big deal, I would say. Like to myself, chill. People come and go. It's not the love of a life. There is no such thing. Like we are all evolving, changing humans. It's just fine. Like I felt like as a young person dating, I was always that's gotta be the one. That's,
Mm.
and I've had really long relationships every time. And I always felt like that is a massive, I can't break up. We've been together for 5 years or whatever. And it's just like you chill, you'll be fine. Don't put so much of who you are into this because it can end. And if it ends, then you're left with this massive, identity crisis that you shouldn't be. Like but it's entangled with like family dynamics and other things. So every experience is different. I feel like from my context, it always felt like this is gonna be what changes my life. I met this person.
Put a lot of expectations on it.
Expect very early on. This is gonna be it. Nothing can go wrong. We can't argue. Like I would just be like with this particular partner, we never argued, and I thought that was a great thing. And it was not, because when we did, it was like, massively blowouts of all this resentment and anger because we never had that. It's not a big deal, date for as long as you want, go through as many people as you want, because it's all, at the end of the day, it's only going to make you more experienced and more sure of who you are.
Yeah.
You don't have to make this your entire identity. Yeah.
I'd probably tell myself to spend more on dates.
Yes, I would say totally. If I could give you an advice back,
Hey, this is about me giving my advice to myself.
Take the girl to a nice restaurant, get the flowers, go the extra. Because then, if anything, you just had a nice dinner.
Maybe this girl where it fizzled out and she said, maybe this is the last time. Maybe it's because I didn't take her to the right restaurant.
Well, coffees are nice, but like
food's better.
Food's better. She's probably tell you what, women go to the extreme of like, I will not wear this dress. This is back in my day. Women today are very empowered and different. Maybe they don't care. Back in my day, you want to look so good in this dress. You want to make sure you're fit. Don't want to be bloated. I'm just gonna have
some nibbles.
I'm just gonna nibble. I'm in water and like cucumber because then I'll look good. And you have dinner anyway. And then you show up and ask her to get a coffee. It's gonna make her even more, hungry. It's like,
I think part of the story though was that I typically knew them a little bit before.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah,
I'm taking
it wasn't a blind date, but yeah, I know what you mean. What you mean. If I was trying to impress someone because that was the first interaction, I probably wouldn't have been like, let's get coffee.
I think men don't realize how much of our lives as women, it's lived inside our heads. Like if you, let's say you had a date tonight, it's 4:00 or whatever. You'll be chill, doing your thing, working.
How do you know? I might be freaking out.
And then we will be reporting to headquarters. You know, the girls know about it. What dresses am I going to try on? You know, that is, we live so much in our
I
heads.
think that's one of
you
those
know?
pieces of advice I think I would give women would be just chill.
Yeah,
that
we
stuff.
should chill. Yeah.
Guys, don't care. We're not there talking about your makeup, talking about what you wore.
But don't you appreciate, wouldn't you appreciate, oh, she looks stunning. Really?
I mean, I would probably think that, but it's like it's not a deal breaker.
Yeah,
no way.
interesting.
If you had just, I mean, clearly, if you showed up and it looked like you just woken up and you had scruffy hair,
Yeah.
you put in zero effort, I'd probably be like, what
Like
the
boots,
fuck?
you
But
know.
you could still come back from that if you were charming and I had
Yeah.
a laugh with you. I think I would be like, nah, you know what? I don't really care.
Yeah, interesting. No.
Quite often I would just be like, dude, over the top, like
Yeah.
too much.
Especially if you're not that person and you're very relaxed and casual and she shows up in like high heels,
I know.
massive nails, you know, the whole circus.
You know what?
It's
That
like,
would have made me
wow.
feel like, oh shit,
You're so
she's
different.
from a different like
Yeah.
group of people. Like it would make me feel intimidated. I think almost where I would be
Interesting.
like, she's too high maintenance, high quality, expecting too much in terms of everything I wear, fashion, perfume, date. I would just be like, whoa, this is intimidating. If I had loads of money, I'm sure it probably
I
wouldn't be a
hate how
problem.
it is such a like, I hate this like early stages of things when you are just, everything is a measurement for something like,
Mhm.
oh, like, but he wasn't wearing that much of a, you know, he didn't have a nice car, or like all these little things.
This is I think this is
you
more of a
know?
feminine thing. We don't typically, at least from memory,
Sorry.
we don't typically like
care.
I don't get together with the guys after a date back in the day and be like, she wore this and she was this and she did this.
Yeah, like
It would
women.
be, I would not talk to my friends about it. Would be, did you go out on a date? Yeah. Was it good? Was she hot? Yeah, she was hot. It was good. That would be like the
Yeah.
conversation. It wouldn't be like, she smelled like this and she did this and her boobs with this. I wouldn't be talking about
Yeah,
those sorts of
women-
things. Like,
It's not shallow like that, but like we do, you know,
Full on
little
debriefs.
things, little things of like, oh, you know, he got the door for me, and like I got there, he had like flowers, or like he got this really nice wine or something.
I
Like
can imagine that
these
you're enjoying the
little
experience.
things of like we
Yeah.
would like,
Ooh.
the girls.
They want to
will
live
know.
vicariously. Yeah.
The
See, I
girls
don't
will
think
know.
guys don't really get off on that stuff. I don't think. Like, tell me more about what you said to her and what was she wearing.
Yeah, we don't want
How
to
did she
know.
smell?
You don't want to know what was said. Oh my god, I want to know what was said. Everything, every single word.
Oh my god! Next time I have a friend who's going on a date, I'll say that to him, and I'll report back about what he tells. He'll probably tell me to go fuck myself.
It's like,
Be like,
I don't care what she
Get
said.
a room, dude. This is none of your business.
No, we need to know.
So,
And you said this, and then like,
oh
yeah.
god, you guys are just a
Yeah,
different species.
We need to know.
What actually matters? What actually
Nothing
matters with
matters.
relationships? How do you make them work?
I'm not the person to talk about that.
Why? You've got a relationship that's
well,
currently working.
But like, well, it. I don't know.
What are the things? How did you
know.
know when you were dating someone? What were the things that stood out to you, that mattered, that showed you?
If I was
it was
comfortable
working?
with them, like if I didn't have to mask,
Mm-hmm.
or like pretend I'm someone else, you know.
100%. That's
if
exhausting.
I can, the conversation flows and I can be weird without being like, dude, this is a massive, you know, we shouldn't have said that. Kind
It's
of
so
thing.
funny. The first time, like, because this goes back to, I'm never going to forget this. You commented on one of my YouTube videos back when I first started. It must have been a few years in. and
Oh,
I-
trick.
One or two, yeah. Well, I don't know why you did, but you said something like, thanks for teaching me English. These are great. I speak Portuguese. If you want to do a English for Portuguese, like chat, trade in terms of practice, let me know.
Jesus Christ.
And I think I just sent you a message on it. Like I said, oh, just message me on Instagram.
Oh, my ancestors going, well played.
So is that what happened? Because I don't think I've ever asked you.
No,
Or were
what do
you-
you mean? Like if
well,
I had like,
Were you
ugh.
thinking like, maybe I'll get to know him? Or
No,
was it
not at
genuinely
all.
just
it
I'll
was
ask him?
literally like, oh my god, a gringo is
He's
like
learning Portuguese.
learning Portuguese. You know
Yeah.
how much Brazilians we love that other people enjoy our culture.
Yeah.
We just like, it doesn't matter. You've seen it. It's insane. Like not other
So
culture in the whole
love it, yeah.
world. It's like so and so is not making fun, but like taking the piece at stereotypes about Brazilians.
Yeah.
We love that. So
Yeah,
that was,
someone was doing that about Australia, I wouldn't care.
you'd be like, what?
But yeah, so you like that. It's funny because
it was more, they're like, oh my God,
when this was in my dating phase, so I was thinking, cool,
Whatever.
I'll get to know her. Who knows? And maybe we just chat. And then the first time we had a chat, I was just like, God damn, like very attractive. And then
Yeah.
you sent me a meme. I think I made a joke
Good
after
on the
we
memes.
Yeah, one
Like
of
a
these
good
memes, one of these
Brazilian.
gifs on like on Facebook or Instagram where we were chatting away, and I think I said, you told me, oh, I'm in Townsville, and I said like, well, you better start walking or running now because it's like 3,000 kilometers from where I
Oh,
am.
God.
And you sent me this little meme of Forrest Gump
Oh,
running down the
God,
road and around the corner.
classic.
And that was,
Classic.
it's so funny because that was the moment where I was like, she gets it.
I can have
Sense
a whole
of humor,
conversation
she
just using
gets it.
memes,
Yeah.
and that sort
that
of
sticks
yeah.
with me. I always remember that moment of like, that was when I realized, and that's when it hit him,
Yeah.
she's the one.
Well, I don't
Holy
know.
shit, it's Jason Bourne.
I guess from like, I told you about my friend the other day, like the guy said something that is a thing online, that people say, like a meme, and the girl, my friend, didn't like it.
Yeah, she raged.
She raged. She thought it was too forward or whatever. I would have just laughed.
Exactly.
I'll be like, dude, like, give it back at him, just like, oh, we'll see, like,
Exactly.
just,
But that's,
you know.
if that's not her personality, it's not her personality.
Yeah, that's it.
you know?
She did the right thing for
what can she
who
do?
she is. She doesn't
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
I would just have laughed.
Exactly. And that's why it worked out, Kel. That's why we're
Yeah,
here with
I
two
would just
kids.
be like, yeah, whatever, dude.
But that
Netflix
was-
and chill.
I think that was the important thing,
Yeah.
not taking life too seriously, making jokes constantly, and even being cheeky and taking the piss out of me
just
constantly.
it's sort of testing waters too. Like you can see how far you can push a little bit, and
Yeah.
like how forward you can be. And if the person is like giving it back at you, is sort of I don't know. Also, not
Yeah.
having pressure of like, oh, I have to make this work. Like you're just chatting, you're not
Yeah.
thinking much of it. You're just having fun, being
I think,
friendly.
and that's it. The thing that I was always looking for, and the advice that I would give anyone listening who's currently dating, find someone that you can just talk to, and
you
it
can
doesn't,
have a laugh with.
and time flies.
Yeah.
You're not thinking about it. You're just having fun. And if you can just relax in that moment and you're not thinking about what do I say, what do I do, how do I, you
Yeah.
just enjoy this other person, you've found the right one.
If your
right?
experience is being outside of your body, watching yourself and monitoring everything you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
you shouldn't be there. You should be so immersed in it that you forget what time it is. You're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, it's already 8:00. We've been chatting for so long. That should be the feeling of, I really like to be around this person. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's do some rapid fire questions as usual.
Mm.
Coffee date or pub date? Coffee date.
Pub, 100% a nice pub any day.
Beach or mountains? Beach.
Mountains.
First move or wait?
First move for me.
Wait. Texting or calling?
Or texting. Oh my God, no calling. Again, just a parenthesis. One thing these days, these kids, all they want to do is call.
Yeah.
All my friends are like, oh yeah, I was on the phone with this guy. I was like, wait.
That's
You're
too much
on-
commitment.
On the phone with this guy? Like, Peter called me. I think legit something happened to the kids. Like, there's no phone calls happening. Like, no way. Absolutely not.
Just with
Text,
anyone, not dating online.
Audio files, maybe.
Yeah.
Calls are next level. Like, next level. No.
Split the bill?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Flowers or no flowers?
Sometimes flowers, not all the time. It's
It's
weird.
a bit over the top, right?
Yeah.
Camping date or absolutely not?
Absolutely not.
I would
will-
totally do a camping
I
date.
am not. No, I'll be
That's like
in a
that's
nice
like
hotel
the old
with a
school
warm
Netflix
shower.
and chill. What's the biggest green flag?
Sense of humor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you could be a psychopath with a sense of humor.
Well, we still, that's the dinner thing. We still had a good,
Yeah,
dinner. Still had
yeah.
a good laugh. Maybe you're not dating material. Like, we will not be a good
Mm.
boyfriend. But like,
Yeah,
if you
you're
laugh
right.
with someone, I always tell this to my boss. Again, our conversations about everything. Women we don't want the hot guy. Like, we don't want the 6-pack. if a guy makes a woman laugh,
Mm-hmm.
he's halfway there. Make a woman laugh. Be the funny. You're not gonna be stupid,
Yeah.
but be the funny guy. That's it. We just want to have a laugh, and like you're just the prettiest man for her.
Biggest red flag.
If you just talk about yourself, you don't ask questions, you're just like me, I do this.
100%.
Look how impressive I am. Like, that's a turn off.
Or if you can't take a joke. If I remember, like,
Yeah.
if you were dating someone and you would make a joke about something that they wore, they did, they said, or whatever, and they got angry at you,
Yeah.
that
Even if it was
Yeah.
it wasn't a joke that they enjoyed, but like to get angry at it, it's a
Yeah,
bit like,
yeah.
well, chill.
one perfect date or lots of average dates.
Lots of average dates
I
in a
reckon
nice
you have
pub.
the one perfect one, because then you've had the perfect one, and
There's no such thing because every time you meet a person, it's a different
it's
person.
a hypothetical
you know?
question.
I know, but like one time it's like,
No, but you get to see them later. The dates later on are just shit.
I don't know. I think meeting someone several times and like, I don't know. I like the date. What do I say? What's the word for it? The build up to it.
Yeah,
The
anticipation.
like anticipation. You're gonna wear this, and then like, I'm such a girl. Yeah.
All right, well, we'll leave it there and ask you guys, I guess, a few follow-up questions. What's dating culture like where you live, and what's something Australians would probably find surprising about it? So let me know in a comment below, or send me a message. And besides that, we'll chat to you next time.
See you later.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Tooroo.